From Galaxy Lanes in Venice, Florida, USA Network presents the Professional Bowlers Tour. And tonight, it's the $100,000 Venice Open. And these are tonight's 5 finalists. In 5th place, a 33-year-old veteran looking for his 5th PBA title, Joe Hutchinson. The 4th place finisher was the 1982 PBA 300-game leader with 4, looking for PBA title number 1, Steve Wonderlic. Qualifying 3rd is a man who shot a 245 and a 258 on tonight's TV pair. This week, the General George Pappas. In 2nd place, appearing in the USA TV Finals for the 2nd week in a row, Marshall Rabbit's Foot Holman. And the man they'll be shooting at, this week's leader, bowling 1 game for $13,000 and his first PBA title, Kent Wagner. The $100,000 Venice Open on USA is brought to you in part by Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. By Mobile Detergent Gasoline for your everyday driving needs. By Levi's jeans, cords, and shirts for quality and style you can count on. And by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is USA One, and USA One is taking charge. And this is where we are for the $100,000 Venice Open. It's the $3.5 million Galaxy Lanes, only 11 months old, and it is the site of this, the very first time the PBA has been in Venice, Florida. Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig, along with Mike Durbin. And all I can say is it's a good thing the PBA doesn't bowl outdoors, because it's the 3rd week in a row, Las Vegas, Austin, and now Florida, where this hot summer weather has followed the tour around.
It certainly has been hot, Alan, but the scores have been equally hot inside. It took almost a 220 average to make our top 24 this week, and I'm looking forward to very high scores on tonight's television cast.
Now, last week we had Marshall Holman, who won in Austin after having gone 19 consecutive appearances in the TV finals without a win. He finally broke that streak, and he is now trying to snap and continue with the momentum here.
Well, yes, he did last week. We said when Marshall won last week, Alan, that we thought that he might open the floodgates and win 3 or 4 in a row. We may have been prophets and not even known it, because it took a 248 game by Kent Wagner in the position round last night to keep him from leading today's tournament. He's coming in here, he's relaxed, he's confident, he's hot, he's ready to win a game.
And I called him Marshall Rabbit's Foot Holman because he is a little superstitious. He's got a whole bunch of little things in his pocket that he says bring him good luck. Now, in the meantime, the man on top who you mentioned, Kent Wagner, had a 300 game this week, so he must feel very comfortable here.
Well, Kent Wagner kind of looks like he's 14 years old, and he's really 24 years old. He looks like your neighbor next door. He's another what we call power player on the tour. He turns the ball a lot, gets a lot of hook. It's hard to read him because his face doesn't show much emotion. But he came right up against Marshall in that position round last night, needed to beat him by over 6 pins, shot 248. He's the tournament leader today, looking for his first title.
Now, Mike Durbin is the current PBA president. Before him, it was George Pappas, who was in the TV finals tonight. Now, a lot of people told George that while he was the president, he wouldn't be bowling very well. And he says he bowled very well, and then when he wasn't the president, he wasn't bowling very well. Now he seems to be getting his game back together.
Well, he certainly is. This week, he's probably bowled the best he has all year this particular week. And George is just a leader. He's been the chairman of our tournament committee. He's been president of the organization. He's a natural leader on the tournament. He's a take-charge type of guy on the lanes. He's probably known as the best shot maker on the PBA Tour today. And what he wants to do is go out there and make shots and win his 8th PBA title today.
Okay, game number 1 is coming up next. We're on Florida's Gulf Coast for the $100,000 Venice Open. $13,000 is the top prize here, and we'll get things started on USA after these messages coast to coast.
Working around here, a guy gets very wet on the outside and very dry on the inside.
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. The rich, smooth taste of Miller beer is what you have in mind. Whoa, whoa, welcome to Miller Time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
Welcome, well you know you're welcome. Welcome, everybody's welcome. Welcome to Miller time, yours and mine.
Sometimes it's reassuring to know your car will perform well. That's why stunt driver Michelle Slate relies on mobile detergent gasoline. After all, a car with a clean carburetor performs better. It's as simple as that. Mobile detergent gasoline for your everyday driving needs.
In our world of endless imagination, anything can happen. And those of you who wear Levi's jeans know what I'm talking about. Because anywhere our minds can go, we can follow too. Go ahead, chase a dream in Levi's jeans.
This is the 25th anniversary of the PBA, but the very first Venice Open. And in Game 1, 33-year-old Joe Hutchinson from Scranton, Pennsylvania, takes on 25-year-old St. Louisan Steve Wonderlic. And over the past couple of weeks, we have seen some great starts, and we're about to see what we are going to see here in the Venice Open with some great scores this week.
And setting the stage here, beautiful Galaxy lanes in Venice, rolling on lanes 17 and 18. It appears that 17 is a little bit tighter than 18, wants to hold back. Hutchinson starts the match.
Joe's average this week, 220.8, looking for PBA title number 5.
And it slides by, leaving the 2-4-5, appropriate enough.
He really brings the ball back high, doesn't he?
Hutchinson has a very unusual delivery, a 5-step approach. Watch how the arm cocks and opens up, snaps it back, very short slide. It's not one you would recommend to the beginner bowler, but he makes it work for him.
And now Steve Wonderlic. And Steve gets off to a great start. Slides right on in there. A successful first frame. His average this week, 222.5.
Steve going for a double on the left lane. It's tighter and just kicks that 10 out of there. Takes an early 10-pin lead.
Now back to Joe Hutchinson. This year he's won 22,785.
Really an off year for a talented man like Hutchinson. Hopes to get it going here. The right lane hooking earlier, right through the nose, the 3-6-10. What Hutch is thinking about this week, he told me earlier, is sometimes he has a tendency to get at the line and fall off balance to the right. So he's thinking to wind up on one foot this week in balance. In other words, he's just holding that position at the foul line on his left foot, staying in balance. It's what the one thought he's had in his mind all week long, and it certainly worked for him. Cross lane at the 3-6-10. Converts it easily. Nice killer.
And for Joe Hutchinson, still a 13-pin deficit. He said he felt a little heavy this week, so he decided to go on a Hutchinson diet. It meant no eating for 3 days.
Have you ever tried that?
Nope. And I don't think I ever will.
I tried it one time for 4 days, went on a 4-day fast. Just juices.
He said while he served in Vietnam, he went many times without eating for days.
Back in the pocket. Perfect. All right.
All right, so he's back on track.
Finally gets it on track. That's right.
Spare strike for Hutchinson.
Hutchinson playing right around the 7th or 8th board. Gets this ball over the foul line. Good fingers. Down the lane. Makes the move to the pocket. It's only a 15-pounder, but it still knocks them all down.
Back to Steve Wonderlic, up by 13.
Steve using a urethane bowling ball. Good loft, good turn. Really gave that one room, and it just came roaring back. Nice shot. See how it knocked that 10 out of there right at the end? Pretty shot.
He's on a roll. Triple to start things off here in game 1.
When you see the 6 take the 10 out like that, you know that the player had good lift off of his fingers. That put that good roll on the ball to make those pins react. He's taking a re-rack on lane 17. And again, he's allowed 3 per game. If he wants more, the tournament director has to take a look at it.
Mike, why do you think in 4 years of being a member of the PBA, Steve's never won?
Well, sometimes things like that can be a mental thing. I really don't know why he has won. He certainly has the talent. You got to get yourself in that position. Maybe today will be his day. Right in there. Pretty shot. And remember, this man had four 300s last year. He can shoot 300 games. This one is just a little bit higher. Classic style. Look at that left arm back, the follow through, straight through. About the 9th board or so. Just solid in the 1-3 pocket. Just got the 7 pin out there. Hutchinson is in a must-strike situation already. Right there. Pretty shot. Pretty shot. Down 33 pins and cuts it to 23 right there.
He doesn't glide up to the foul line as some bowlers do. He kind of breaks to a screeching halt when he gets there.
Kind of has a rhythmic approach. Right over about the 2nd arrow. Again, it's only a 15-pound ball, but those pins are no match for it. As we see in the scoreboard there, Hutchinson with 37 in the 2nd, double working. Wonderlic 60 in the 2nd, another double working. 23 pin difference. Hutch can cut it to 13 with 1 more here. Needs to put some pressure on Wonderlic. Give it more room. It's not going to make it back. And he gets a big break! Whoa! I'll tell you, when you're sitting on the bench and your opponent does that, just black thoughts go through your mind right there.
Now watch this in slow motion. It was slow motion in real time.
Watch the head go to the wall here. Comes back. Pin's just bouncing around. Oh. Well, they all count. It looks the same on the scoreboard right now.
13 pins the lead for Steve Wonderlic. We're at the midway point of game 1. Joe Hutchinson and Steve Wonderlic, and the $100,000 Venice Open on USA. We'll be right back.
Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge. With Chevy S10 Maxi Cab, there's never been an extended cab pickup like it before. You can't even get one in a Ford Ranger or Toyota. Taking charge of people space, Maxi Cab with available rear jump seats has behind-the-seat room Datsun King Cab can't match. Taking charge with up to 40% more cab load space than Datsun King Cab. Now choose 10.9% financing or $300 cash back on new 83 S10 pickups and Maxi Cabs. Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge.
This will be a rugby play. There's Rogers at the outside. Pitch it back to Garner. And Garner's got no place to go and no one to pitch it to. And he's still on his feet.
Game's not over yet.
And here's another man. Flag is down. A flag is down. As Kevin Boone takes it into the end zone. It is the touchdown for California.
It is a touchdown.
How do you like it?
Catch the spirit of college football '83 on USA, premiering September 4th.
The USA Network. There's no network anywhere that offers the consistent entertainment, information, and excitement that you find all day, every day, only on USA. We're dedicated to the entire family. Our commitment to women during daytime features insights that help you feel better, eat better, and enjoy yourself. USA remembers young viewers with Calliope, the USA Cartoon Express, and Scholastic Sports Academy. For young adults, USA takes off with a brand new pop music magazine, Radio 1990. In-club performances on USA Hotspots. And incredible pop culture variety on Night Flight. In prime time, there's the top flight presentations of Ovation. And sports fans rejoice for the only cable network with live national coverage of Major League Baseball and the NHL. Plus pro tennis, the PGA Tour, college sports, and much, much more. The Great American Network, bringing home your kind of television, USA.
There's our sixth-place finisher this week, the winner of the Torrance Open this year, Jimmy Pritz. That was his first PBA victory, and it came in a very unusual fashion when he defeated Don Janello, when Janello miscalculated the score and thought he had already lost, and threw his final ball in the gutter, and it cost him a victory, and Pritz won by 2 pins. It was one of the most unusual finishes I've seen in 17 years on the PBA Tour.
A crazy one. 13 pins, the lead for Steve Wonderlic.
Good lift, good lift. Almost too good. He trips that 4 out of there. Right lane hooking just a little bit earlier than the left, and so you have to keep that speed up. And I know Steve was thinking about that because we were talking about commercial breaks and everything, and right after that you have to keep that speed up. As we see there, he has 90, is perfect through 5 frames. Hutchinson, 67, and a double working in the 4th and 5th.
Just under $70,000 for the year, for his career rather.
Good shot, good shot. Solid in the 1-3 pocket. Well, he's halfway there.
He's very, very smooth.
The thing to watch with Wonderlic is his follow through. He has such a good follow through. As he's going to see how square he is, left arm out. See that follow through snap right straight. He goes right straight through every shot. Hutchinson again in a must-strike situation right there. Boy, that ball just snapped right at the end. It looked like it was solid in the 1-3 pocket. Leaves the 4-7-10 just a hair soft for that speed. And that's a big hole. He almost has to convert this. He has to go for it.
And Joe's just waiting for his ball to make its return journey.
They finally made it. He'll go cross lane at it. He has to take a shot at it.
He's doing some perspiring under these hot TV lights.
And 9 out. That puts him in a big hole.
And he's talking to himself. Nobody out there to talk to but yourself.
That put him 48 pins behind with only 4 frames left. He does talk to himself. He talks to the crowd too. He's much like Lee Trevino in golf. He's just keeps loose by talking to the crowd. Solid for him. Well, he's driving off to Buffalo, and right now he's probably already got mentally got the car packed and in it and headed away.
That long drive's a lot worse when you've been to the TV finals and only bowled 1 game.
Yes, it is. It's even worse when you've been to the tournament and made no money.
That's true.
Right now, Wonderlic is on what I would consider probably the tougher of the 2 lanes for him. He's 6 in a row, but this right lane, he's got to keep his speed up.
Everybody in the crowd thinking 7.
And it is 7. Good lofty. We know when they're going to get that 10 out of there. Great shot.
Steve's high game this week, only a 266. He's doing very, very well.
Ball crosses about the 2nd arrow, about the 9th board, goes out to maybe the 5th or 6th board. Watch the 6 pin now. Snap that 10 right out of there. Again, when you see that happen, you know that the bowler had good fingers in it, as we see Wonderlic with 150 in the 5th frame and a double working in the 6th and 7th. Perfect through 7 frames. Oh, he gave that one a lot of room. Just wouldn't make it back. Oh, it's gonna fall! It almost fell. Still teetering.
Not thinking about 300.
It did look like it was going to fall for just a second.
Yeah, it must have moved about 3 or 4 inches.
Easy spare for him, though, as he has his match well in hand. Converts the 2 pin.
So after 7 straight strikes, a spare in the 8th, Now to Hutchinson, who takes absolutely no time whatsoever.
Just finishing it up. That's the one he was looking for 2 frames ago.
He said as a result of his diet, the denial or whatever really helped his concentration, Mike. I'm just surprised to see this happen to him.
Well, no, people that do this a lot, I understand, say that happens, and when you get the poisons out of your system sometime with these fasts. Although I've never seen a bowler do it during a tournament before. 4-9.
Testing himself, isn't he?
I don't know what he said, but he's got the crowd laughing. Again, it's only a 15-pound ball, but it doesn't deflect. Watch the 2-pin here. Flies right over the 4, and the ball chops the 5 off the 9. As he tries to give us a shot. Going at half speed down there. Wonderlic right now just wants to keep his concentration, keep his stroke, keep everything going for the next game. And right now he's got it going pretty well.
Steve has finished in the top 24 8 times this year, so that's not been a great year, but it hasn't been an awful year either.
Well, it depends what you do once you get in there. If you can get into the TV finals, that's where the money is. Unfortunately, there's not enough money out here to really make it unless you win. You need to win. Trips that 4 out of there.
He's looking at Joe Hutchinson, almost apologizing because he's beating Joe by so much.
Well, he's probably thinking of that shot back in the 8th frame. He just gave it so much room and had no chance to get back and strike. Gets one more, puts him in the 270s. And he gets the what's known as the PBA washout, the 1-2-4-6-10. See if he can give us a shot here. What he wants to do is hit the head pin on the left here and drive the head pin into the 610. At least I think that's what he's going to try and play it. And that's the way he did do it.
Very, very nice.
And he winds up with 264. I said there'd be high scores.
That's just 2 pins short of his high game this entire tournament.
No, no!
I think Joe's finishing with the right attitude.
He's always joking and laughing. But he's a deadly competitor. I mean,
he's showing us all the tough spares here tonight.
he has that infectious smile that
Steve Wonderlic will move on into game 2. Looking like a steamroller heading for George Pappas.
and he tried. Finishes up with 188, and he's on his way to Buffalo.
Just a bad night for Joe Hutchinson, 264 to 188. And the 25-year-old from St. Louis, Missouri, Steve Wonderlic, will bowl against George Pappas when we return with the PBA on USA after this.
For 8 hours a day, we're doing what we like doing. Can't beat that. Wanna bet?
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. The rich, smooth taste of Miller beer is what you have in mind. So welcome to Miller Time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
The USA Movie presents a special event. From the heart of France comes a happy romance with a humorous twist. A comedy with a catch. a friendly love affair between the most loving of friends. Cousin Cousine.
What is it? Are you in love?
Don't miss an exceptional film of high acclaim, Cousin Cousine, on a USA Movie Special at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific tomorrow.
He's everyone's very best fiend. Bruce Dern is the night caller on the Alfred Hitchcock Hour at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on USA tomorrow.
Valuable tools, the latest technology, bargains on magazines, and records you won't find anywhere else. All this and more through the USA Network and the one-stop shopping convenience of 1-800-USA-1000. Great values without leaving home. Watch USA, then dial 1-800-USA-1000.
USA hurls a pair of key National League contests your way on the next edition of Thursday Night Baseball. First, George Hendrick, Lonnie Smith, and the St. Louis Cardinals look to rise to the top once more when they battle the Houston Astros. Then it's on to San Francisco, where the Giants aim to tame triple threat Dawson, Oliver, Carter, and the Montreal Expos. A live twin bill that can't be missed on Thursday Night Baseball at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on USA. May not be seen in some areas. 36 years old from Charlotte, North Carolina. They call him the General, and he is a take-charge kind of a guy. He is going to be going up against Steve Wonderlic, who cruised on through Game 1, defeating Joe Hutchinson with a score of 264. Pappas this week had a fine week, registering a 278, a 269, a 268, and so on and so on. His lowest game was 177. He is in his 7th year as a member of the PBA and has won 7 PBA titles in a 14-year career, actually, with the PBA. He is an outspoken type of a guy and a lot of fun to talk to. And earlier I had a chance to speak with George Pappas here in Venice. George Pappas is a take-charge kind of a guy, and as he tells it, he loves to take on the responsibility that some of the other bowlers don't want to take on. George, you've been called the General as a result of that philosophy. You're the past president of the PBA. What made you like that?
Well, just, you know, my whole life I've always kind of accepted responsibility, and I enjoy the challenges that, you know, accepting responsibility poses. And generally I just tell it like it is and try to work things out. And I have the touring player's best interest at stake when I'm out here bowling, and I think generally that's the reason why they nicknamed me the General.
George, you were the PBA president before Mike Durbin became the PBA president, which he is now. What problems did Mike inherit, and how severe are they for the PBA?
Well, the major problem that we had when I was president was the subject of attending the PBA Players School. And that was a very serious problem at first, but once the deadline passed and all of the players had attended, the organization sort of settled down and the members settled down, and things have run pretty smoothly since then, and I just hope that it keeps going that way.
George, when you've been called the General and secretly the mouth of the South, and the people say that you like to tell it as it is. Was there ever a situation where you got yourself in trouble as a result of that?
Well, a few times I've said some things that I regretted, but on the whole, if I had it to do over again, if I had a chance to change my personality and go back, say, 15 years, I wouldn't change it. I'd go back and do exactly the same thing that I did, you know, that I've done as always.
Well, that's the right way to look at it. Your feelings tonight in the TV finals?
Feel very confident. I'm bowling as well as I've bowled in over a year. A lot of practice and a lot of hard work, and I think it's going to pay off this week.
And we'll see how it pays off as George Pappas shakes hands with Steve Wonderlic in Game 2 of the championship round here at the $100,000 Venice Open. Al Troutwig along with Mike Durbin, along with you on USA. And here's George Pappas.
And George did look especially sharp this week as I watched him bowl. He's just making great shots. First one's underway. Almost tripped that 2-pin out of there. Again, the left lane appearing to be a little bit tight. Not quite making it up there. George is a game that you would teach your youngster to fashion after. Every ball is in time, right there. Good slide, left arm out for balance. Watch the follow through, straight up. Perfect imbalance at the line. Just didn't quite get the lift on that ball that he wanted to get. Either that or he needs to move a board to the right to get the ball up to the pocket.
And a mark in frame one for George Pappas. These two met in match play once. Pappas defeated Steve Wonderlic 269-235.
So they threw a lot of strikes in that match.
Right. Pappas had the kind of game that Steve Wonderlic just had to defeat Joe Hutchinson.
And Wonderlic didn't quite give it the room it needs on lane 18. Comes up high for the 3-6-10. You see a chink in the armor a little bit. This one he kind of lunges at right at the foul line here and just never gets the thumb out of the ball clean. And it's left of his target. Never had a chance. 3-6-10 is not an easy spare. Cross lane at it. It's taking a lot of time. Switch balls to a ball that goes straighter. And it worked. That ball definitely did not bite the lane nearly as much and made the spare easily.
Steve Wonderlic currently 43rd on the 1983 money standings in the PBA. And
Takes a re-rack on lane 17.
I wonder, Mike, whether the lack of competition in that first game hurts a bowler going into the second game.
No, as long as the lights don't affect the lanes to dry them up. If the shot is the same, no, the lack of competition, you enjoy those easy type games. It takes less out of you. Actually, I think it's better. All of us do. We like those guys. And he trips that 2-pin forward like we saw Hutchinson do. Very square games here. Good fall through. The ball goes out a little wider and doesn't quite make it back. Watch the hit. Goes to the wall, hits the 4, and the 4 falls into the 2.
Back to George Pappas. 223.9 this week.
Right over about the second arrow. Comes in light. Weak 10. Good shot. If that ball had been a little lighter in the pocket, a little higher, would have struck. Just in that in-between zone there leaves that weak 10. George will cross lane to 10. Five-step player. Notice how he takes the step, then pushes. Holds at that 1 count, converts the spare. See how he holds his follow-through up at the end also? He's a classic shot maker type of bowler. He's not aiming at an area out there. He's aiming at 1 or 2 points and trying to hit them with the best shot he can make.
Very much how you do it.
Funny, I think he does it a little better.
George Pappas looking for his 8th PBA title in 14 years on the tour.
George said that he changed his hand release a little bit this week to try and get a little more roll in the ball. And he's lost the pocket. He gets a good break to knock that 4-pin out of there. On the left lane, he hasn't been able to hit the pocket. He didn't hit it in the practice shots. Light the first frame. He made the adjustment and goes high. Cross lane at the 6-10. Good speed at the spare and makes it on the left. Not exactly the way he was trying for it.
But nonetheless, a conversion and 3 spares. Frames 1 through 3 to start things off for George Pappas. Now to Steve Wonderlic, who's working on a strike in frame 3.
Really not a very solid start. I mean, just got 1 ball out of the 3 in the pocket. No strikes. Wonderlic needs to jump on him in a hurry early while George is fishing. Good speed on this shot. And doesn't trip the 4-pin out of there. Good shot. Ball hooked just a little bit early.
Things are a lot different now for Steve Wonderlic than they were in game 1.
Well, he's still ahead. He converts the spare and he's still 3 pins ahead. But Pappas is still in the game. Cross lane at the 4-pin. 5 steps. Makes the spare easily.
This is the 8th time that Steve Wonderlic has appeared on TV. As we look at his 3-pin lead.
Not seeing the strikes that we saw in the first game.
After 8 games on TV, he is 5-3. This is game number 9.
See if he gets it back in the pocket this time. And he does on that left lane. Nice shot.
That had the crack of the strikes in game 1. Now back to George Pappas.
Kind of an adjustment George makes. Week 10 on this lane. He'll probably play this lane exactly the same as he did. Try and make a little bit better shot to get that 10 pin out there. See how he bends those knees just before he starts. Free swing. Good loft. And got the 10 pin out of there. Same hit. A little bit better shot. Now I'm interested to see what kind of a move he makes on this left lane. See how square he is? Watch the follow through. Straight up, right over the second arrow. Now watch the 6 pin. As it goes to the wall, comes back, and just nudges out the 10. Billy Ray used to say it was the tender touch.
First time that Pappas finds the pocket. Now bowling in the 5th.
See if he finds it on this left lane. He hasn't hit the pocket on this left lane yet. And in at that time, left a solid 10. He knew he made a good shot. There were a lot of those solid 10s this week. Even though the scores were high, there was still a lot of those solid 10 pins. Again, watch the follow through. Straight up. Watch the 6 pin where it got the 10 pin last time. Whistles right around. Cross lane at the 10 pin. And makes it. Not as graceful as he usually does, but
no, and only 1 strike through 5 frames for George Pappas. He trails by 3 pins to Steve Wonderlic at the midway point of game 2 here on USA. We'll be right back.
We are USA 1, taking charge with celebrity. No import sedan at any price can match this Chevrolet for the room it gives you with the mileage it gives you. And Chevrolet now brings it to you at new, lower prices. The 5-passenger front-wheel drive Celebrity with standard engine electronic fuel injection. Chevrolet's new generation sedan. USA 1 is taking charge.
Are you tired of the gotcha of old-fashioned wrenches? Well, now there's SureLock, an incredible new universal wrench with a grip like a vise. SureLock versus all these wrenches makes SureLock a sure winner. From 3/8 to 13/16 or 9mm to 22, SureLock fits them all. No more searching for the right size. Do chewed-up bolt heads give you a headache? Relax. SureLock locks up like a vise to loosen even strip nuts because SureLock works on the flats of the nut, not the corners, like those gotcha wrenches. Metric or imperial, foreign or domestic, lawnmowers, cars, bikes, and toys, nothing's too tight for SureLock. It replaces this $40 set of wrenches and fits right in your pocket. There's more. In a tight spot, watch. SureLock even has a built-in ratchet so it socks it up in seconds. Turn it over and it loosens just as fast. SureLock is made from the finest hardened tool steel. And if you order now, we'll also send you Big Lock. It fits from 13/16 to 1 1/4. Through this offer, you get both wrenches, plus our incredible 10-year written guarantee. We'll also include 10 screwdrivers to fit every type of screw. Plus, as an extra bonus, you'll also receive the amazing Pocket Tool Kit. This incredible tool cuts glass, strips, sharpens, hones, and shapes tile like a professional does. And it's yours as a bonus. You get it all for the amazing price of only $19.99.
For COD and credit card orders, call 1-800-USA-1000 in Georgia, 222-7272. Save the COD charges and $19.99 plus $3 shipping and handling to Wrench Kit. Box 49648 Atlanta.
We speak frequently of Harry Golden, tournament director. This is his wife, Dottie, making the front row one of the prettiest.
And they live right here in Venice, not 10 minutes from the lanes.
And to Steve Wonderlic we go in the 5th frame, leading by 3 pins.
And trying to get a double to take. There have been gnats, little bitty gnats here, you know, in this humid weather in Florida. We've had some of these little bugs.
Lots of bugs. Some of them pretty darn big, too.
See how he's got that finger spread and tape on that index finger there. A lot of players nowadays put a lot of pressure on that index finger to turn the ball with. Gives it a lot of room. Pretty shot. Pretty shot.
Mike, you quoted the great Whaloo again before. You seem to quote him more than any other player.
Well, Billy was doing all the announcing when I was watching the tour at first, and I really admired the things that he had to say and the style that he had. And if you're going to quote some, might as well be a Hall of Famer, huh?
Absolutely. Wonderlic by 13.
Good loft, good loft. And trips the 4 out of there. Ball just held. He's making a left-hand turn. Just held to get that 4-pin out of there.
Still came in a little higher than he would have liked.
Watch the loft out of the ball, out of the lane, way out of the lane. And watch the 2-pin now. 3rd from the left. It goes to the wall, comes back and gets the 4.
Wonderlic takes a breather. Back to George Pappas.
And George is...
He's got a strike.
Down 23 pins, needs to get it going. Right there. Pretty shot. The left lane to see whether he can master it or not. No strikes on the left lane. He's going to finish on the right lane. He's chosen to finish on the right. See how square he is? Good loft, good follow through. Watch the ball just solid in the 1-3 pocket. See that 2-pin got both the 4 and 7 that time.
Earlier this year, Mike Durbin passed the $500,000 mark in earnings. George Pappas was the 10th player in PBA history to do that.
Right, and he's currently 8th on our career money standing list. Looks a little right there. Pretty shot. Boy, see how determined he is. He gets 23 pins down, and he says it's time to get the motor running. If we could see his face now, he just has grim determination on it. Good loft. Solid in there. Could be 4 in a row if he carried that 10-pin.
Well, this is the 49th time he's bowled a game on television. He knows what it's like to bowl under the lights.
A couple of fans saying things distracted Steve Wonderlic, so he backed off. It's the right thing to do. Needs to keep the speed up on this right lane. And did. Pretty shot. Boy, he's getting that 10 out of there just pretty.
Now, Steve did a lot of his junior bowling at Dick Weber Lanes in St. Louis. And if anything will get you in the mood to bowl on the tour successfully, it's bowling at Dick Weber Lanes. Here's
that follow through right up there. He knows it's in the pocket. He just doesn't know whether the 10-pin's going to carry down on one knee. All right, he says. He's got to get himself together now and make another good shot. Right now, 120 in the 5th frame with a double in the 6th and 7th. Pappas with 97 in the 5th, also a double in the 6th and 7th. 23 pins. Can increase it to 33. And he's there and leaves the 10-pin. Threw it well. The ball just came in behind the pocket, and the 6 didn't have enough to get up and get that 10.
Well, we saw the positive reaction. Here is the negative.
He knows it's in the pocket. He's saying, come on, get up there and carry. He's running it out.
Had a little bit of everything there, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Needs to get himself together and make the spare. He switches balls. Breaks the wrist a little bit. Doesn't have this cupped wrist when he's shooting the spare. And makes it easily. Pappas down 22 pins going to his favorite lane. Has to get in this match. It's the 8th frame. He's running out of frames.
First championship round appearance of 1983 for George Pappas.
Gave it a little more room and swishes him out of there. Great shot. He says, that away, baby.
And the 1979 Firestone Tournament of Champions champion seems to be settling in. Now working on 3 straight.
Look at the intensity on the face. Left arm out for balance. Watch the follow through. Straight up. He knows it's coming up. Saying, come on. All right. This, though, Alan, right now, is the most important shot that George Pappas has thrown all week. He's down 12 pins. he can cut it to 2 and set himself up to finish on his good lane. Must make a good shot here. He's a little light and didn't get it up there. The 2-4-5. He took his hand over. He went around the ball and didn't get the lift that he wanted. Big shot there. Big shot. See, that puts him down. If he makes the spare, he's down 15 pins, and his opponent is finishing out. He's in big trouble. Two, 4, 5. Difficult spare. A lot of speed and makes it on the left. Not exactly the way he was aiming, but got the job done.
General checking something out with Harry Golden, the tournament director.
George went over and looked at the score, and he said, "What frame is it?" He said, "That was my 9th," and he threw his towel down. He knew how important that shot was.
Steve Wonderlic now leads by 15 pins as he bowls in the 9th frame as well.
Right now, Steve just needs to mark in these last 2 frames with good count, and he's going to win his 2nd match. It's a big shot right there. Any kind of spare or strike in the 10th frame, and he's going to be a winner. He's ahead by 15 pins, going at a 229 pace right now.
Steve had 9 strikes and a 264 in game 1.
As we see the difference there, 189 to 174. Wonderlic on a strike, Pappas on a spare. Best Pappas can get if he strikes all the way out is 224. Wonderlic would need a spare and 6 pins to ensure himself a victory. Finish on his good lane, good speed, good loft. Comes in light, crumbles the bucket. He's a winner.
Things seem to be falling Steve Wonderlic's way.
Although he needs to get some pins. He's not officially a winner yet. He's saying, "Come up, move on up there." All right. Didn't know whether that was going to get up and get enough of the pocket to strike. Now he just wants to stay behind the foul line, get pins. Makes a perfect shot there. 264 the first game. He can have 249 this game. I think the man's got the pair wired in. Well, he's going to need it. He's facing the hottest bowler on the tour next.
That's right. Holman.
Right there. Pretty game, pretty shot. Excellent bowling by Steve Wonderlic.
249 it is.
The difference between the 2 bowlers was Wonderlic's ability to hit the left lane and Pappas's inability. Only 1 strike on the left lane did George get, and he made it into a turkey. This lane gave him little trouble until now, which he doesn't care. But the left lane gave him a lot of trouble.
Like to the average bowler, which certainly I am. I can't believe that one lane over the next can make such a difference. But only after listening to you and watching the tour for 2 years now do I realize how big a difference it can make.
Well, it definitely does. It's just like different greens. We're putting different in the morning, at night, different types of grass. Same thing. You're dealing with wood out there. George misses a spare, winds up with an even 200. And it'll be another time for George Pappas.
And so the final score, Steve Wonderlic 249, George Pappas 200. Pappas goes down, Wonderlic moves on. Waiting to take him on is Marshall Holman, looking to make it 2 PBA titles in a row. We'll see what happens when we return with the PBA on USA.
All day long, we're all business. After that, it's a whole new ball game.
Welcome to Miller time. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. The rich, smooth taste of Miller beer. It's what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge with Chevy S10, the hottest selling new size pickup in America, with available V6 power, revolutionary Instatrack four-wheel drive, and up to twice as much towing capacity as any import pickup. Taking charge with much better V6 mileage estimates than Ranger. S10 pickup, maxi cab, and Blazer. Now, choose 10.9% financing or $300 cash back on new 83 S10 pickups and maxi cabs. Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge.
The American Indian, part of my heritage and yours. My heart fills with pride as I watch these warriors dance. I feel that part of my heritage, which is Oklahoma Indian. I draw only what I see and feel in my heart. I'm an artist, not a camera. I see visions of my ancestors living as one with nature, never taking more from the land than their needs. I'm proud of my half-brothers, and I take pride in this unusual TV offer. Drawn with a fresh brilliance of pastel, I present you my portfolio of 3 original art prints, complete with certificates of authenticity at one unbelievable price. All 3 prints for $29.95. Every artist wants his work accepted. Hope you like mine.
I'm Frank Emerson Nye. You call me right now and I'll hand sign these prints for you personally. Operators are standing by waiting for your call. The lines are busy, call back. But do call.
You're watching USA Network's coverage of the PBA Summer Tour. Al Troutwig along with Mike Durbin. And we'll get back to our coverage of the $100,000 Galaxy Lanes Open here in Venice. But first, a look at some facts and figures about this tournament and the PBA Tour. We start things off with bowlers 6 through 24 in the competition.
Alan finishing in 6th place this week was Jimmy Fritz. He made a big charge and just fell short. 7th place went to Butch Soper. Norm Duke, our Cleveland Open champion, 8th. Mark Williams, our statistician, is 9th. The defending champion here, Dave Houston, finished 10th. In his 2nd finals in a row, Alvin Liu was 11th. Rick Fatone, 12th. Ted Hennis, 13th. Local favorite here, Tom Evans, finished 14th. Clay Sagibo from Hawaii finished 15th. Ray Shackelford was 16th. Mark Baker, 17th. From nearby Miami, Storm DeVincent was 18th. Steve Cook, returning from a broken thumb, finished 19th. Jeff Bellinger, 20th. Bowler of the Year a few years back, Wayne Webb, 21st. Tom Milton, 22nd. In his 3rd finals in a row, Jay Robinson finished 23rd. And Mike Albee held them all up in 24th.
And after tonight's TV finals, they will make checks out in the following amounts. The first place winner will receive $13,000. Second place good for $7,500. Third place, $5,000. Fourth for $4,500. And fifth place, $4,000. That's the prize money breakdown in a PBA $100,000 event.
And our leaders round by round this week. First round was led by our tournament leader now, Kent Wagner. The second round was led by Mark Baker. Then the defending champion Dave Houston came in the 3rd round. Steve Wonderlic on the show today led the 4th round. Kent Wagner held up in the 5th and final 6th rounds.
And for those of you who continue to tune up your game at home after watching some of the bowling tips by Mike Durbin, stand by. Here comes another installment on Mike Durbin's continuing series of bowling tips here on USA. Mike?
Have you ever done that? That is, chop the 2-4-5 spare? Of course you have. So have I. Every pro and every amateur has. It's one of the most commonly left and frequently missed spares that we have in the sport of bowling. And the question is there any method that you and I can use to make that spare with some degree of regularity? And I think that there are 2 methods that I'm going to give you today that we can use. First of all, I'm going to set up a hypothetical situation. And we're going to try and shoot that spare off of my strike line. Let's suppose that I'm standing right here in the middle of the approach on board 20, let's say, and I'm aiming for, let's say, the 2nd arrow out there. Remember, there were 7 arrows out there when we talked about the rangefinder. The one on the furthest right was the 1st arrow, next one in was the 2nd, next one in was the 3rd, and the middle arrow was the 4th arrow on both sides. Well, let's say I'm aiming for my strike, standing here on the inside edge of my left foot on 20 and aiming at the 2nd arrow, and I leave the 2-4-5. Now, if I move 4 boards to the right, over here to board 16, and still aim at that 2nd arrow, I'm going to make that spare with only 2 exceptions. One is if I have the 8-pin with that spare, I need to move an extra board. And the second one is that in some bowling centers, they put a lot more oil in the center of the lane than they have on the outside, and you might have to have a little bit of flexibility with that 4-board move and add maybe 2 or 3 boards to it. But we're going to try and make that spare right now. Again, I move over and I stand right here on board 16, and I'm going to aim at the second arrow to try and make that spare. And there I converted it, for once anyway. But one problem with shooting the spare in this particular fashion is that there's a lot of angle coming into the spare, and I might chop it. And that might be your problem, chopping the 2 off the 5. And you say, well, how do I solve that problem? Well, a lot of pros on the tour solve that problem by shooting that spare from the extreme left-hand side of the approach. And I'll show you that method right now. Again, I get my ball and move way over to the left side of the approach here. Now, I'm actually aiming at the arrow left of the middle arrow. It would be the 5th arrow for a right-handed player. By the way, if you're a left-handed bowler, simply turn all of these instructions around. Aiming at the 5th arrow, try and make that spare. And I made it, and even then I made it on the wrong side, but because I'd cut down that angle, I didn't chop it. So remember, there are 2 methods. We shoot it off the strike line, 4 boards to the right, and the strike target, or we shoot it from the extreme left to cut down on that angle and the possibility of a chop. And remember, if you can make just 1 more spare a game, you can improve that average almost 10 pins. We'll see you again next week.
And Mike did that on 1 take. We'd like to see him do that again 2 times in a row. Let's take a look and see who's winning what on the PBA Tour. We start out with the experienced veteran Earl Anthony, who now has $131,000 plus on the year. Tom Milton with $81,000. Marshall Holman, we're seeing him tonight in the TV finals, is 3rd. Don Janello, who's going to have kidney surgery this week. We wish him all the best from North Merrick, New York. Joe Berardi from Brooklyn is 5th. Pete Couture is 6th. Our own Mike Durbin is 7th. Pete Weber is 8th. Henry Gonzalez from Colorado Springs is 9th. And Gary Skidmore with $52,950 rounds out the top 10. And Mike, the average leaders.
Well, the average leaders are very similar. Again, it's led by Earl Anthony with 217 plus. Marshall Holman, last year's leader, is in 2nd place with over 214. In fact, almost 215. Tom Milton is 3rd with 213. Baker 4th with 212. Dave Houston 5th with also 212. Henry Gonzalez staying in that 212 category. Pete Couture just over 212. Ted Hannes at 211. Mark Roth and Gil Sliker round out the top 10, both at 211.
Great cheeseburgers and great video games, all part of this fabulous facility, the Galaxy Lanes on Route 41 in Venice, Florida. It's a $3.5 million facility, and earlier I had a chance to talk with the man who's in charge of it all. Here's that interview. We've been talking a lot about Galaxy Lanes. This is the first time the PBA has been to Venice. It is a sparkling new facility, and this is the boss, Rafi Carrion. Rafi, it's a major undertaking. I'm not sure I realized that a place like this cost as much money as you told me it does.
Well, it did. I can assure you that. My banker will testify to it, too.
$3.5 million.
That's right, yeah.
Now, exactly how is it broken out for lanes and equipment and maintenance and balls and so on and so forth?
Well, the lanes and equipment are about $1.5 million, and this is all brand new lanes, brand new equipment, the magic score units, and the seating, everything that has to do with bowling was $1.4 million.
Now, about how long will it take you to recoup that money?
I hope it'll take as long as I told the bank that it would take, but I don't know.
Now, how did you go about getting a PBA event here in the very first year of this facility?
Well, it's a funny story. I had never, I hate to admit to this, but I had never heard of the PBA after we opened. And one of the times that I was coming from the back, my mechanic said that's Steve Neff bowling on lane, I think it was 32. And I unfortunately made this silly statement, "Who is Steve Neff?" And he informed me who he was, so I went over and I met him, and he started talking about the PBA, and then I started watching it, and I was impressed by one of the tips of the week that was said once, and the tip was, on your first ball, throw the 10 pin, shoot at the 10 pin first, and then on your second ball, throw your strike ball. This way you can always practice the pin that you usually leave, which is the 10 pin. The next day, I was at the center and I was walking up and down, and I noticed one particular lady that was doing this, and I hesitantly asked her, because, you know, sometimes they're not really trying to hit the 10 pin and you look like a fool, but I hesitantly asked her, are you really shooting that 10 pin on the first ball? And she said, yes, they told me to do it on TV. So immediately I said, this is incredible, and I started asking, and I had 5 people that day that were doing exactly what was on TV the day before. it indicated to me the kind of response that people have to the network showing of the TV show, and I said, I got to get these people to come down here. So luckily Steve was on my side, and he was involved in the PBA, and we were able to get it the first year that we were open down there, and now we have it here.
Here's a look at where we will be bringing you the PBA Tour from in the coming weeks. The weeks of August 17th and 24th, we will be at Cheektowaga, New York for the Buffalo Open, and then we'll move north of the border in Windsor, Ontario for the Molson Bowling Challenge. The week of August 31st, we'll be in Waukegan, Illinois, just outside of Chicago for the Waukegan Open, and then we'll wrap up our summer tour coverage on September 7th with one of the truly entertaining events of the year on the PBA Tour, the PBA Seniors Championship from Canton, Ohio. And Mike and I will be there for it all. Hope you can join us on USA for our coverage of the PBA Summer Tour, and we'll continue on with the Fall Tour as well, but more about that in the weeks ahead. We will continue our coverage of the $100,000 Venice Open on USA after these messages coast to coast.
Levi's, beige, corduroy, Levi's, green, corduroy, Levi's, blue, corduroy, Levi's, tan, corduroy, wine, gray, brown, cream, corduroy,
Thank you, Mr. President.
Chords, 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 chords.
We are USA 1, and proving it in Chevy Cavalier. Cavalier's high-compression 2-liter engine with electronic fuel injection gives you more power than the 3 leading imports. And even though Cavalier sedan is shorter outside than Honda Accord sedan, it gives you 6 cubic feet more passenger room inside, plus more room in the trunk. Chevy Cavalier, from America's sales leader, USA 1, is taking charge.
One of my bigger days.
Let me buy a beer.
Sure. These fans, I love them. When I came in, they didn't recognize me at first, but then when I told them who I was, next thing you know, they're buying me my favorite beer, light beer from Miller. They know us ex-big leaguers drink light because it's got a third less calories than their regular beer. It's less filling, and it tastes great. Thanks.
Hey, it's a pleasure to buy a beer for a great pitcher like Whitey Ford.
Hey,
So I lied.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Hey, Whitey, I thought you were a lefty.
Oh, that's right.
Tuesday, USA hammers you with professional wrestling as Jimmy Superfly Snuka takes on the magnificent Morocco in a grudge match. Plus, Rocky Johnson trades chops with Mr. Fuji. You'll flip for professional wrestling at 8 p.m. Eastern on USA. Tuesday.
Bowling's best shuffle off to Buffalo in the $110,000 Buffalo Open. The PBA on USA at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, Wednesday.
And in Game 3, it will be Steve Wonderlic trying to continue with the magic against Marshall Holman, last week's winner in Austin, Texas. Earlier this year, Steve Wonderlic went to the TV finals in Hartford, won his first match over Mike Durbin, won his second match over Pete McCordick, and then lost to the eventual winner, Tom Milton. Well, Marshall Holman hopes that history repeats itself and that he will be the eventual winner as he looks for victory here in Game 3. He had gone 19 straight times without winning in the championship round, but last week he was a winner. He hopes to do it again. I had a chance to speak to him earlier before tonight's competition. Last week in Austin, Texas, I was standing in a very similar position next to Marshall Holman when he took the winner's check at the Aquafest Mr. Gaddy's Open. That had to feel good, and as we are here this week, you're on a roll. You're in the TV finals again.
Thank you, Alan. I'm really looking forward to this appearance. Last week I was a little apprehensive because of all the losses. I've been chomping at the bit to get another shot, and it came the very next week. I'm looking forward to it today.
One of the things I enjoyed last week was going into the press room after it was all over and watching you hold court with about 5 or 6 reporters. You really enjoyed that, didn't you?
Oh, without a doubt. You know, after it's over, I have a lot to say, and I was very pleased that they wanted to listen to me, and I enjoyed myself.
Of all the quotes that you spewed out, which was your favorite? I'm sure that you enjoy reading some of your good philosophical quotes about bowling.
To tell you the truth, I filed everything I said last week, and I'm just looking forward to this one right now.
All right, now I picked up your biography, which is supplied for every PBA player tonight, and I was looking at it, and I looked down and I saw superstitions, none. Now, you and I both know that that's a bunch of baloney, okay? Why don't you just take out your little repertoire there and explain the importance of each of your little items for the hopeful success here tonight.
Okay, well, it's a silver dollar. It was given to me by a friend of mine last week. It helped. A little rabbit's foot given to me by one of the fans. It definitely didn't hurt. I've got a keychain here that supplied some of the added impotence for the last few shots, and then I've got my Aqua Festival pin that I'll have on today. So as far as superstitions go, I guess maybe you could say the only ones that I don't have maybe haven't been invented.
Were you always superstitious?
No, not really. This is just, it's something that it worked last week. Why, you know, why change the motion?
Marshall, did anything happen to you last week that you look back on it? Did you have a different feeling? Did you have a special feeling of confidence? And do you really feel like there's a different kind of energy that may be carried over to this week?
Well, Alan, I feel like I had the old me last week. I was very, very intense. I was nervous, extremely nervous before I went on for my final match. And I think that nervousness is very good for me. I can't be too relaxed. If I'm relaxed, my shots aren't crisp. And I was very pleased with the way I bowled last week. I made a lot of good shots, and I think I'll have that same feeling again this week.
I spoke to Gary Skidmore earlier today, who won Austin the year before you did, and he was saying that when he gets a little nervous and his shots don't seem to be falling very well, very similar to golf, you just walk up there and throw the ball. You don't stand there, you don't think about it, you just, hopefully you have that subconscious know-it-all about where the ball's supposed to go. Do you do that type of thing?
Well, I try to. You know, we have a saying, it's called getting into dead stroke. And when you get into dead stroke, actually the conscious side of the bowler really doesn't have anything to do with you. You just go up there and unconsciously, self-consciously make the good shots. It's something that every bowler tries to get into. It's a feeling where when you get up to the line, you just know you're going to make a good shot, and it happens. You have to let it happen. Everybody in the top 5 today have very solid, good physical bowling games. It's a mental game today, and the man with the strongest mental abilities is probably going to walk away with the championship.
Well, Marshall Holman is wearing his Aqua Festival pin, indeed, today on the golf course. We talk about golf a lot. It seems like everybody on the tour does golf. Today, Marshall said he shot the ball very well, but didn't score very well. We'll see if he carries that misfortune into the third game. Steve Wonderlic will step onto the approach in the left lane, lane 18. Lane 17.
Lane 17.
Sorry, I'm just having a really bad one tonight.
And trips the 4-7 right out of there. You know, Alan, in 1976, Marshall Holman won the Firestone Tournament of Champions. And when he was practicing, he said to the eventual man he was going to bowl, as we see Steve Wonderlic getting a strike here on this first frame, ball going a little bit high, tripping the 4-7 out of there. Anyway, he said to the man as he left the practice pair, to Billy Hardwick, he says, "I'll see you in the championship match." Well, today, Kent Wagner came over as Marshall leaves a 4-pin and threw 4 practice balls after the second game. And when Kent left, Marshall says, "I'll see you later." So we'll see if he's a prophet again. He was in 1976.
He averaged this week 226.2.
Not a bad average. Lost lane, a lot of speed at the 4-pin. Makes it easy.
Holman always does average well. Last year he had the highest average on the PBA Tour. He spares in frame 1, looking for PBA title number 16. What a great career.
He pounds that rosin right on the thumb and fingers, then wipes it off. He wipes that ball, and then a lot of times puts the towel down, then puts the ball on it, looks at the pins again, dries his hand. Then once he gets up there, it takes very, very little time.
His parents evidently went to a local TV station in Oregon last week to watch the USA Network's satellite transmission of his victory in Austin.
On the left lane here, first time I've seen him miss the pocket on in practice or any other time. He leaves a 3-6-10. He looks very relaxed. Maybe he's too relaxed, as he said in his interview there. He needs to be nervous. As he's bent over 5, very quick steps. Watch the long slide. See how long he slides? Lets that ball go, follow through straight up. One of his biggest assets, though, is that long slide, right in balance.
Looks like a clay court tennis player sliding into a forehand. He glides up there.
He does glide up there. A lot of speed at 3.610. Makes the spare.
And he gave that typical Holman clap after the success.
But he's off with 2 spares, and right now Wonderlic can put him in a hole. That's what you want to do. Bowl a guy like Marshall, get him down right away. Put him behind. A lot of room he gives him. And gets that wall shot, and that pin just flew off the wall there. Steve kind of gave Marshall a look as he came back. Marshall's an intimidating fellow to go against. He can, with his gyrations and his mannerisms and his ball, that vicious ball that he throws. As Steve takes a re-rack on that left lane. It's his first one this game. Again, he's allowed 3. He likes this one. He's up 13. Can increase it to 23. Good loft right there. Doesn't let the solid 10 yet. He's got that 10 out every time.
Wonderlic splatters him for the 3rd straight time. Let's focus in.
Look at the eyes. See the eyes? Watch the follow through come up. Now he knows it's there. He's moving right away. 23 pins ahead. He's got him in a hole. That's what you need to do with Marshall.
Back to Holman looking for his first strike.
Right there, almost left a solid 7. Pretty shot. Well, the way Steve Wonderlic is going right now, this is a very important shot for Marshall Holman right here in frame 4 already. He's down 23 pins. He's got to put some pressure on Wonderlic. Marshall knows that he's a fierce competitor and he can add. He knows what the score is.
It's his 3rd TV appearance in the last 4 tournaments.
See how he's got that tape on his index finger? Cups that wrist, snaps through that ball.
Hold it!
Solid, pretty shot. And vintage Marshall at the foul line. He tries to intimidate Steve Wonderlic. Lets it go. He knows it's there. Now watch him. Smacks those hands. All right. You can read his lips there.
Good thing he's not intense.
Right. He's relaxed up there.
Calm, cool.
When he came back, he gave this vicious stare right at Wonderlic. I remember him doing that last year in Syracuse, trying to do it to Dave Sutar. Sutar answered with a 260 game.
Looking for 4 in a row.
A little high. Just a little bit tight. Good shot. Good shot. Leaves the 4 pin. It's right there, though, but we've really got a match now. It's down to 12 pins. Good, tight match here.
It's easy to see how Steve had 4 300 games last year. When he gets in that groove, he's able to really build into something big.
And his ball strikes almost every time it hits the pocket when he really gets it going like he is right now. He's got 513 for the first 2 games, which is a 256.5 average. Converts the 4 pin. Back to the left lane now. As we see, Wonderlic with 79 in the 3rd, spare up in the 4th. Holman 37 in the 2nd with a double working. The difference is 12 pins. Wonderlic wants to get right back on it with a strike here on 17 to keep the heat on Holman. Great shot. Nice ball. He's making good shots. He's got a good ball reaction and he's making great shots.
Well, we're at the midway point of this all-important game. The winner goes on to the championship match to bowl for $13,000. Right now, it's a 12-pin lead for Steve Wonderlic. We'll continue in just a moment.
I wear my marigold everywhere.
Marigold, the only jewelry that is as intimate as your skin. Marigold is a 24-karat gold finish that will never peel, tarnish, or discolor, and it's hypoallergenic. The Marigold Designer Collection is only available through this exclusive television offer. Each collection includes one 16-inch herringbone chain and one 18-inch herringbone chain, which can be worn separately or together. Also included is one pair of beautifully tailored love knot earrings and one pair of designer hoop earrings, all in a specially designed travel case. The Marigold collection weighs 14.5 pennyweight. An equivalent collection of pure gold would retail for over $700. Each collection is registered and is accompanied by a lifetime guarantee. Order now and receive this beautiful matching bracelet free. Call today, 1-800-USA-1000, or send $19.95 to Marigold, P.O. Box 49648, Atlanta, Georgia.
The American Indian, part of my heritage and yours. My heart fills with pride as I watch these warriors dance. I feel that part of my heritage, which is Oklahoma Indian. I draw only what I see and feel in my heart. I'm an artist, not a camera. I see visions of my ancestors living as one with nature, never taking more from the land than their needs. I'm proud of my half-brothers, and I take pride in this unusual TV offer. Drawn with a fresh brilliance of pastel, I present you my portfolio of 3 original art prints, complete with certificates of authenticity at one unbelievable price. All 3 prints for $29.95. Every artist wants his work accepted. Hope you like mine.
I'm Frank Emerson Nye. You call me right now, and I'll hand sign these prints for you personally. Operators are standing by waiting for your call. The lines are busy. Call back. But do call.
Marshall Holman from Jacksonville, Oregon, steps onto the approach. In 10 years as a member of the PBA, he's won just short of $650,000.
Which is amazing, in a 4th on the all-time career money list. After only 10 years, he's 4th, another Nat. They were around all week.
They're bugging him, huh?
The Nats are bugging him, yes. Big shot here. Needs one more and cuts it to 2 pins. A little tight, and trips the 4-pin honor. Well, Wonderlic left it. Marshall gets it.
And Marshall gets his first break.
He lets it, snaps it through, and he knows it's going to be a little bit high. He's trying to say hold, and look at that reaction. But he's just your calm, easygoing guy.
Just another day at the office.
Can take the lead for the first time in the match right here with a strike. He's down 2 pins. He's going to the lane he picked to finish on. It's right there. And it gets that light hit and carry.
The adrenaline is pumping.
Shaking that hand like he's trying to pump himself up, almost like it's not coming naturally. He's got to work on himself like Jimmy Connors does when he hits himself on the hip.
4 straight strikes for Holman. Now back to Wonderlic, bowling in the 6th, down by 8.
Suddenly it is behind for the first time in 2 matches.
Holman, meanwhile, burying his head in his hands, not looking.
It's right there. Pretty shot. Pretty shot. Great loft on that ball. He really got that out of the way.
Wonderlic was up, then down by 8, now up by 2 again.
We really have an excellent match here. Wonderlic 2 pins ahead. You can see it right there. Wonderlic 99 in the 4th, a double working. Holman 97 with a double working. Can increase it to 12 pins with 1 more. This is his favorite of the 2 lanes. Gives it lots of room. Just turn left. Excellent shot. And the ball bit the lane early. Leaves the 6, 7, 10. And suddenly, he's in a position where he has to go for this.
I wish you could have seen Marshall Holman when that happened. His jaw tightened, and he saw the window fly wide open.
Well, right now, if Wonderlic makes this, he's down a pin. If he misses it, he's down more, but he's got to go for it at this point in the match. And, oh, Oh, it almost bounced out like Gil Slikers did.
Oh, so close. Holman wants the re-rack. Didn't take him long to realize that.
Well, Holman's up 13 pins, sitting on the bench. And so often, Alan, as he takes a re-rack on lane 18, so often on the PBA Tour, when your opponent opens, the other guy comes back and throws 2 strikes. When you open, they're killers out here, you know. They jump on you.
That's what a good champion will do. He'll close you out.
Good speed. Pretty shot. After 5 in a row, it's up to a 23-pin lead. He just couldn't have thrown this ball any better than he threw it. Great lift. Just a smooth, goes out to about the 7th board, makes that left turn, dead solid in the pocket. As you saw the ball continue to roll as it went through the pins.
I think when Marshall started out in this game, he started out very slowly in the 2 spares, but now
he's into it.
Yep.
Concentration is there. The adrenaline's flowing. The breaks are going his way where they've gone against him so many times. And just blows him out of there.
Boy, Marshall's making our cameraman work hard. He's spinning over 2 lanes after this shot. Watch.
He knows it's light as he's moving to his right. As he sees it's going to strike, the teeth gritch, the hand smack, the arm swings around, and then the glare.
That's a new dance step. I like that. The Holman hustle.
Well, suddenly, Wonderlic is now down 33 pins in a must-strike situation. And gives it too much room. Wow, it came back a long way. Sure should have struck. Sure could have struck. As hard as that ball was coming back, I can't believe the 7-pin stood. Cross lane at the 7-pin.
Well, now it's a 33-pin deficit. Steve Wonderlic knows full well it was only 1 ball that made the difference.
Well, he's still not out of it. He has potential 234 if he can strike all the way out. Marshall Holman right now, if he would spare strike out, is going at a 240 pace. Wonderlic is in the position of having to strike out and hoping Marshall opens, which is never a good situation to be in. Marshall reading the overhead score. They have the magic score units here. Looking over now at Harry Golden's score to make sure he understands perfectly what the situation is. There it is. The one he wanted. Back in the 7th frame. Such a crucial shot in that 7th frame. He was ahead by 2 pins, opened, and Marshall suddenly went 30 pins ahead.
Wonderlic now has 24 strikes after just a little under 3 games. And he had been averaging 257.
Well, Steve can wind up with, he can wind up with 9 strikes in this game and lose by a substantial margin. A 10-pin. But right now, Marshall just needs to make this a good count and a spare in the 10th frame, and he's going to be a winner.
He knows that.
But he's going to need a mark. He's going to need a mark in both frames. If he would open in the 10th frame, he could lose this match yet. Takes a little extra time, wants to make sure he has all his thoughts together and make this spare. Cross lane, a lot of speed. Has it. Now what he's thinking in his mind is to get together for one more good shot. As he goes over to Harry Golden to check the score, he understands it fully as we see it here. 174 in the 8th frame, strike up in the 9th. 206 in the 8th with a spare up. Marshall is going at a 246 pace. Wonderlic can strike out for 234.
Mike, during practice, Marshall picked up 2 of his balls and bounced them on the ground. What was he showing you?
He's showing me the difference in the way they sounded. We see Steve just not even watching here. Steve knows it all got away in that 7th frame. There it is. Marshall's the winner of this match. He's going to go on to bowl Kent Wagner for the title. Try and make it 2 in a row. That's enough right now. He's a winner right away. And he has the old Marshall Holman confidence back. And with that ball, that game, and that confidence, he's a tough man to beat out here, I'll tell you what. Pretty shot. Pretty shot. He is going to be all Kent Wagner can handle in that championship match. I know our producer this week has picked Marshall to win. I didn't know whether he would, but Kent better have his strike shoes on. Finishes out 256 if he strikes here. And makes it look easy. Makes it look easy. A great game by Marshall Holman.
Steve Wonderlic at one time looked very, very tough to beat. Marshall Holman made it look easy.
Well, Marshall wound up getting 9 strikes. Wonderlic, if he strikes out in the 10th, can match that, but still lose the match. Still lose the match. And now the 10th pin falls when it doesn't matter.
Looks like he's got a poker hand with 5 aces.
He sure does, or
Huh?
a royal flush, I'll tell you what. He's sitting there ready to go. Did you ever see a more confident man going into a title match? Wonderlic gets one more. Bowled a great game. He bowled great all day. 264, 249, and can finish with 234 here. And it's just his misfortune to run into Marshall Holman when Marshall Holman is the Marshall Holman of old. The nostrils flaring and the bowling ball revving up. One bad shot.
And that's all that matters.
And I didn't even think it was a bad shot when he left his hand. I thought the ball was going to be in the pocket, and he made a left turn.
9 strikes for Steve Wonderlic, but it was not enough. He ran into Marshall Holman when he is the hottest bowler on the tour. 256, 234, Holman a winner. And Kent Wagner, 24 years old from Allentown, Pennsylvania, having never won a PBA title, will be battling Marshall Holman for $13,000 when we return.
Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge. And talk about tough. This stock Chevy S10 took on the Baja 1000, the most grueling off-road event on the continent. It was a totally stock pickup with guts enough to start and finish. And at the Baja, to finish is to win. You can buy an S10 pickup just like it from your Chevy dealers now. Now, choose 10.9% financing or $300 cash back on new 83 S10 pickups and maxi cabs. Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge.
I'll tell you, trying to get cultured isn't easy. We just went to the opera and we didn't understand a word.
Yeah, but that big guy in those tights sure could sing.
Well, at least we still drink a very civilized beer. Light beer from Miller. Light tastes great.
But us impresarios drink it because it's less filling.
We can't afford to get filled up. Tomorrow night, we're going to the ballet.
Yeah, I sure hope they do it in English.
Me too.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Every year, hundreds of thousands of people become innocent victims of personal assault. What can you do about it? Protect yourself. The Personal Protector is a personal safety alarm and a powerful flashlight. But wait, through this exclusive TV offer, we'll also include the burglar and fire alarm attachment. Simply place it on doors or attach it to windows. The Personal Protector fits right in the palm of your hand, purse, pocket, or briefcase. You can take it anywhere, your home, your apartment, and when you travel. Protect yourself from theft and fire. A smoke detector alone costs $39.95. But with the Personal Protector, you get all of these features in one unit for only $19.95 with a full 1-year money-back guarantee. If you order now, we'll even send you the batteries absolutely free. Protect yourself and those you love. Here's how to order.
Call toll-free 1-800-USA-1000. That's 1-800-USA-1000. To avoid COD charges, use your Visa or MasterCard. To protect yourself and those you love, order the Personal Protector now. Call 1-800-USA-1000.
Better than a 30-foot birdie putt. That's how Marshall Holman described his victory moments ago to push him into the championship match. His opponent will be Kent Wagner, 24 years old, from Allentown, Pennsylvania. And this tonight will be only his second appearance on television, as he still looks for his first PBA title. He's wearing a pink shirt. He hopes that he will wind up being in the pink. But there's a lot of things going against him. A hot bowler, the hot lights, and a very excited Marshall Holman. So Kent Wagner is getting ready. His stomach is upside down as Marshall Holman gets set to make it 2 weeks in a row after winning at Austin last week. He had a very, very big game in the game we watched moments ago. Earlier I had a chance to talk to the man who stands in his way. You're bowling one game for $13,000 from the Keystone State of Pennsylvania, Kent Wagner. Ken, I wonder what your feelings are about bowling one game from the top spot as opposed to bowling from the 4th or 3rd position where you have a couple of games of momentum on your side.
Well, I think it'd be a lot more easier to just throw one game. It's a lot easier to bowl one game than 4, I think. They have a good advantage.
Now, what are your thoughts as you're sitting off to the side, throwing a practice ball now and then, watching the other bowlers? Are you scared about the momentum that perhaps one of the other bowlers might be building up?
No, not really. It could go any way. They could bowl a real big game and a bad game. And that, you know, it just depends how you bowl that game.
Now, you had a 300 game here this week, so you must feel very comfortable with the lanes.
I do, and especially the lower end of the house.
Now, that's a long number of games ago. What was that? That was in your first game here?
Yeah, but I had basically the same shot all through the tournament except last night. So if they're the same today, I should have a good shot.
What is your practice schedule each and every week?
Well, I practice very rarely. I practice about once a week at the most.
I understand you have an interest that's outside of bowling.
Yeah, auto racing.
What type and how do you follow it?
Well, dirt track racing and NASCAR. NASCAR mainly on TV, and dirt track when I'm home, because that's real popular in Eastern PA.
All right, as you stand on the approach tonight in that championship match, what will you be thinking as you get set to throw that first ball?
I don't know. I don't know yet. Just to win.
That first ball, will it matter whether it leaves you with a solid 10-pin, or is it important that you get a strike in the very first frame?
No, I think it'd be more comfortable if I ring a 10. Yeah. I don't know why, but...
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
That, of course, was Kent Wagner. Interesting way that he thought he should begin this championship match.
Yes, it is very interesting. Leaving a ring at 10. I can't ever imagine I'd be more happy with a ring at 10 than a strike. It's been a long time since I was 24 also.
Marshall Holman kept looking over at our illustrious coordinator, Chuck Pisano, asking how much time, how much time. Could not wait to get started.
Oh, he's like a caged tiger, ready to go. A little slow. Solid 8 to start the match out with. Interesting, you know, he didn't get any bad breaks last game. None. All good breaks. And right out of the gate, solid 8 on a perfect shot. 5 quick steps, the good follow through. Ball solid in the 1-3 pocket and chops the 5 straight back off the 8. Needs to forget it, put it behind him, and make the spare. Which he did. And he has a couple words to say to it. Well, again, the way to beat Marshall is to get out ahead of him early. Wonderlic did it last game. Marshall was able to come back. Let's see whether Wagner can do it now.
He had a fine week, averaging a little over 223.
And winning a lot of games in match play. Snaps that weak 10 right out of there. Well, he didn't get his wish. He started with a strike.
He throws it out there like a shot put, doesn't he?
Oh, yes, he does. He lets the ball down early and then runs after to catch up with it. 4 real quick steps here. Gets it way out on the lane, kind of plants and snaps it through. Good lift and turn. And got a good result. Again, it's not a style that you would recommend, but he makes it work for him. And right through the nose, breaks it up. Leaves only the 10-pin. Could have been worse. Looks at his thumb. He just never got out of that ball cleanly. Never got out of the thumb hole cleanly on that shot. The ball was left of target right away.
Really saved him.
See, right here, he hangs in the thumb and it's left of target. When you let a bowling ball go, you want the thumb to let go first and the fingers to lift up. And to do that with a clean release as he makes the 10-pin. Under pressure, all of us have a tendency to shorten the span a little bit. And sometimes we don't get the clean release we want to.
Back to Marshall Holman. A spare in the first frame. He now bowls in the second.
Marshall just really hit this right lane in the first game. Well, this one is the same place the first frame was, but he gets 10 this time instead of 9. An even match after 2 frames at Marshall with a hammer in his hand. A strike up. See that power that he has. Doesn't turn it a lot, but lifts up from the back. Cupped wrist. The ball covers a lot of boards and is really revving up and hits that pins. We see we're all even. 20 in the first. The difference, Holman with a strike, Wagner with a spare.
Holman's high game here in Venice, 280.
He doesn't like something. I don't know if it was a bug or what it was. When he puts the ball down, something wrong. He goes up on the approach, and it is a bug. It's another net. Well, that's about the only thing slowing him down right now. It's a very important shot. He wants to get out ahead, and we see how he acts. He's the greatest front runner I've ever seen.
Is that right?
Well, yeah, when he gets out ahead, just nobody catches him. Not that he can't come from behind, too. It's just that when he gets a lead.
You've seen some great bowlers, too.
He is tough when he gets a lead. And trips the 4-9 out of. What a break. We got a bad break in the first frame. He trips the 4-9 out of there. Speed seemed just a hair softer. He just didn't get through this ball the way he wanted, I didn't think. It goes high. 2-pin goes to the wall, trips the 4, and the 9-pin, something else nudged it, and it fell.
Yeah, he's pumping. Wagner down by 10.
Good loft. Right down hard again. And he looks at his hand. He just, again, the pressure. He just seems like he's not getting out of the ball cleanly. Leaves the 6-10. It's hard. You're coming up on the hottest bowler on the PBA Tour right now, who's just bouncing in his seat back there, and you're trying to win your first PBA title at 24 years of age. 6-10 makes it spare. Cuts that hook down going cross lane.
Mike, what about his practice schedule? Only once a week. Seems to be very light.
Well, it's individual again. I know that in my career, you know, the times I practiced a lot sometimes and practiced a little other times. As I've gotten older, I practice less. See how he cups that wrist there? The wrist cupped around the ball. Thumb buried in the ball. No push away, just drops it down. And blows it out of there. If you throw a ball like that, you don't need to practice. Runs after that ball. Good loft. Comes in light. Now watch the 5-pin. Watch the ball and the 5-pin. The ball deflects, but enough to get that 5. Soft swisher, we call that.
Looks pretty happy about what he's just done. Still trails by 12 pins.
And trouble is, it can be 32 by the time he gets up to bowl again if Marshall gets 2 strikes. Trying to increase it to 22. Trips the 4-7 out this time.
He was much too high on that shot, and he got lucky.
Well, when the breaks are going your way, you carry those kind of hits, and right now the breaks are going Marshall's way. It started last week. It had to turn around sometime. Watch the 2-pin here. 3rd from the left. Goes to the wall, gets the 4, turns more, and gets the 7. Boy. The thing is, right now, I think what Marshall's telling himself is, take advantage of those breaks. Take advantage of them. It's the best shot he's thrown this game. He left a solid 8 on it. And this time he gets a light hit. Well, he's off to the races, folks. 32 pins ahead. See those eyes and head so still, follow through snaps up there. He knows it's light. Is it going to carry? Yes, it is.
And right after that, Marshall Holman walked around with a look on his face as if to say, don't come near me or I'll bite your nose off. He leads by 32 pins at the midway point of the championship match for $13,000 in Venice, Florida. We'll be right back on USA.
We are Bronson and Bogey, Keaton and Kane. We are new stars and old stars, a real Hall of Fame. We are your favorites, matinees as a kid. We are the reason you moved the way Rocky did. We are Cinemax.
We are cable TV's movie star with over 50 great movies a month.
We're doing movies good. We're more than Hollywood. We are Cinemax. We are your movie star.
We are USA 1. Taking charge by unleashing a Chevrolet the competition can't touch. Camaro. Flat outselling every other 2+2 sports coupe on the road today. And now Camaro is led by a new standard 5-speed 5-liter Z28. The hot-selling Chevy Camaro. It still leaves everything but its shadow behind. USA 1 is taking charge.
A double play. Anyone who pitches for a living loves a beautifully turned twin killing. Hi, this is Tom Seaver for the Sporting News, and we have a twin killing for you. 2 issues for the price of 1 to introduce you to the Sporting News, the Sports Bible. That's right, you'll get 26 issues of the Sporting News for just $9.99. 2 for the price of 1. And you can't buy the Sporting News for a lower price anywhere. It's the magazine that gives me the no-nonsense details of all Major League sports and college action. To love sports is to love the Sporting News, the Sports Bible. Why don't you subscribe today, and here's a friend to tell you how.
That's right, Tom. You get the Sporting News at the low rate of 38 cents an issue. 26 issues for $9.99. That's half the regular subscription price. Call toll-free 1-800-USA-1000. In Georgia, 1-800-222-7272. That's 1-800-USA-1000. In Georgia, 1-800-222-7272.
There we see the husband of that beautiful lady we saw earlier, Dottie Golden. This is her husband, Harry Golden, our illustrious tournament director.
He runs the show.
Never missed a day's work. And I don't know how many years he's been doing it now, 20 years.
And on we go in this championship match to Kent Wagner of Allentown, PA. Down by 32 pins. He needs to knock them all down.
It's a must-strike situation for him. Must. And gets it.
We have seen some of the funkiest strikes in this game.
There's been a variety. Yes, there has. He comes in light here, and the 5 falls right into the 4. Right over about the 3rd arrow, maybe a little right of it. Watch the head pin. The 5, well, something else hit there. The 5 never even got to the 4. But right now, 58 to 80, both working on doubles, 22 pins. Wagner can cut it to 12 with 1 more. And another right-hander. She smacked his hand. Well, we've got a little hand-striking contest going here, too.
If Marshall can do it, so can I. Let's take a look.
Watch this reaction here. Ball comes in light. The head pin goes to the wall. It just cleans about as it comes back off the wall. And can't wait. I've never seen him show that much emotion ever.
He's trimmed Marshall Holman's lead to 12.
And Marshall puts it right back up to 22. I'll tell you what. He knows he made a perfect shot here. He's just saying, don't leave another solid 8 pin. Please carry. Yes, it is. When your opponent strikes, the only thing that you can do is answer him with strikes. There's nothing more discouraging than to get up there and throw 2 or 3 in a row, and your opponent comes right back after you've bit into that margin and answers you with strikes. That's what Marshall wants to do right now. One more. And gets the 10 pin out of there. There's 6 in a row. The only thing that's stopping for 300 right now is that solid 8 pin.
Well, if you didn't know any better, you'd say he's losing it, Mike.
And you couldn't see his face there. Yeah, he might break a hand smacking it. Wagner back down by 32. Again, he's in a must-strike situation. He's right there. And snaps that pin out, and he smacks his hands down. Back to 22. Going to the 8th frame. We're seeing a lot of strikes, I'll tell you.
And this full house at Galaxy Lanes is cheering on these two bowlers. Here's
140 to 118. Holman working on 6 in a row. Wagner on 4 in a row. The difference, 22 pins. Can cut it to 12. 8th frame. Must strike again. He's there. Oh, where Marshall tripped the 4-pin, he left it.
Behind Kent Wagner sits Marshall Holman, taking a deep breath.
So we see him lofted out there. He knows it's in the pocket. He's saying, come on, carry. Oh.
Back live. Ken Wagner thought he had thrown a ball good enough to knock them all down.
Well, he did. It just made a little move right at the end of the lane and left that 4-pin. Just a little snap there. Right now, Kent Wagner's best potential is 247. Marshall Holman right now is going at an even 250 pace, or 249 if he would get 9 on this ball and spare strike out. So we still have a match here, but Marshall, if he strikes on these next 2 balls, has wrapped it up.
Absolute silence.
What he wants to do is maintain his concentration because he's got the pair wired. And he gets that slight hit like that, even though he knows he didn't throw it the best in the world. He came back and carried. No reaction by him at all that time. But if he strikes this one, see, this is the lock shot. He can open in the 10th if he strikes on this and still win the match. Kent looking on, nothing he can do. There's no defense in the sport of bowling. He's shooting a good game, has a potential of 247 bowling for his first title, and can be locked out going into the 9th frame. And just blows him out of there again. 2 in a row, he says, just like that. An amazing, very little reaction. He says, that's it, safe, he says. He knows. Well, after 2 consecutive years here finishing second in Galaxy Lanes, Marshall Holman is going to come up and win this one as Kent Wagner leaves a soft 10-pin.
It's a great feeling of satisfaction for Holman.
And if it weren't for that solid 8-pin in the first frame, we'd be staring at a potential 300. Still with another 5,000 if he carried that solid 8. Now Marshall looks at the score. I think he realizes it. Of course, the primary thought on his mind was winning again.
So pay to the order of Marshall Holman, $13,000. You can fill it in.
As he chats with our host here, Rafi Carrion. Kent finishing out the string. Bowled a good game. Comes in light. Doesn't get the 7-pin out of there.
Pins laying absolutely everywhere. None of them able to knock out that 7-pin.
Well, he bowled a nice game. Good enough to win many, many times. Just not good enough to beat Marshall Holman today. Finishes now with a strike here. He'll finish with 225. And his first big opportunity in his career to win has gone past the boards. I know he's disappointed. I know that it'll be tough falling asleep tonight, but there'll be other opportunities for Kent Wagner, I think. And again, he gets 9, finishes with 224. The only question now is how much Marshall should shoot. If he strike out for 290, he can care less. One more. Boy, he's just giving us a bowling exhibition here. 256 and a potential 299. 9 strikes in the first game, can have 11 here. He could come out and throw 20 out to 24 if he gets 2 more. That looks good. One more for 290. Makes it look easy, doesn't he? His potential, as great as Marshall is, his potential is unlimited.
Let's let him bowl that first frame over again.
Boy, I'll tell you, well, that was the best shot of the game. I mean, it's solid 8. What could you say? No matter what Marshall gets on this last ball, it's going to be the highest game in the history of USA television. As he brings it in, one more at 290. Wow, what a performance. Just a tremendous performance.
A standing ovation, the highest game we've ever seen bowled on the USA Network. 290 for Marshall Holman, 224 for Kent Wagner.
You said that Marshall couldn't wait for this game to begin. Well, no wonder if he's going to shoot scores like that.
And now he can't wait to shuffle off to Buffalo. But $13,000 for Marshall Holman, his second PBA title in as many weeks. He is the hottest bowler on the PBA Tour. And we'll get back to the celebration and the check presentations as USA continues to cover the $100,000 Venice Open. We'll be back.
All right, we're up 15. We got this game won.
Yeah, you get to buying a light beer from Miller. Yeah, light slice Philly.
One out to go. Yeah, what can he do to us now?
Hey, I'll keep the change. Here's Rodney! Any pinch hitters left? Here I am. Come on,
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Hey, wait a minute. This game isn't over yet. I caught that ball.
You know, for my money, every pair of slacks ought to be this comfortable. These are Levi's Action slacks. I own 4 pair now, and I'm convinced they may be the most comfortable slacks a man can wear. First, they have a hidden stretch waistband. It's a great invention. Second, the fabric gives for even more comfort. And now Levi's Action slacks are stay pressed. A washable permanent press that really stays pressed. You try them.
The USA Movie presents a special event. From the heart of France comes a happy romance with a humorous twist. A comedy with a catch. A friendly love affair between the most loving of friends. Cousin Cousine.
What, mister? Are you in love?
Don't miss an exceptional film of high acclaim, Cousin Cousine, on a USA Movie special at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, Monday.
For the champion, Marshall Holman, $13,000, second tournament in a row. Last week in Austin, this week in Venice. He is a happy man, perhaps a little bit nervous, but he gave us the best game that we have seen on USA Network's coverage of the PBA Tour with a 190. Very mundane, Marshall, I must say.
290.
I'm sorry, 290. It's one of those nights, what can I tell you? With us is Mr. Dominic Iovine, the general manager of Galaxy Lanes in Venice, to present Marshall with half of the trophy. This goes with it right here. Marshall?
Congratulations. See you again next year, I hope.
Oh, without a doubt, Dom. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank everybody at Galaxy Lanes, Rappy Carry-On, Dominic, the whole staff. And I finally broke the jinx in Florida. I've had all sorts of jinxes going. I'd been second 5 times in Florida, finally won in Florida. A couple of years ago, I ran away with this tournament, finished second, went to Austin, ran away with that tournament, finished second. I've avenged those 2 second-place finishes by going back-to-back in Austin and Sarasota, or Venice, pardon me, in Venice. Got to get that right now. I am very, very pleased. I was planning on taking next week off, but I probably ought to go to Buffalo. I'm on a hot streak. I've got to take it to the limit. I feel like I can go up there and win again. You know, last week I felt like I bowled great. Today I felt like I was very lucky. I may have left a solid 8 in the first frame of the title match, but I had a lot of good breaks, and I'm very, very fortunate to have won this tournament. Kent Wagner, I think he deserves a fine round of applause. He's a talented young bowler, and you're going to see a lot of him. He'll be back. You can count on it.
Okay, Marshall, you want your money?
Yeah.
Oh, be quiet over there. Here's Rafi Carrion, the president of Galaxy Lanes, to present Marshall Holman a check for $13,000. Rafi?
I've waited 3 years to do this, and I'm really happy that I give it to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafi. And I know you're sincere in saying that it has been a long wait for me to win one here. I've been so close, and to finally knock it off, I'll tell you what, this $13,000 looks awful sweet, and the last 2 weeks have been very good to me. I'm looking forward to next week, and you can count on it. I'll be here next year, and the year after, and the year after.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Rafi Carrion and Dominic Iovine, our hosts here at Galaxy Lanes in Venice. Marshall, would you like to have that first frame over again? I certainly think you might.
Well, you know, I'm not sure I would, because the game of bowling is a very, very mental game when you get to the professional level. And had I have struck in the first frame and gone on to strike maybe 5, 6, 7 times, then you're thinking 300. 300 is very, very difficult to bowl because there's so much mental pressure that goes along with it. 290, the pressure isn't there. If I had struck in the first frame, chances are I wouldn't have bowled as good as I did. I wouldn't have had a 290. I may have shot 250, 260. But the title match, when you get that first strike and you go on to throw a few, there's a lot of pressure that's put on you.
Mike, one quick question.
One quick question, Marshall. You were animated last week in your facial expressions and everything, but this week you were especially animated. Was that intended, or is that just the real Marshall Holman?
Well, I think it's possibly the real Marshall Holman, but before I went on to bowl my match, I was over in the, hanging out in the wings, and I was scared to death. I just won last week, and I know things are going well, but I was still nervous, and I just came out and just erupted, Mount St. Marshall, I guess. It just happened.
That's a good expression for it. Well, congratulations, Marshall. You bowled great.
Thank you.
Thanks to Mike Durbin. Thanks to you folks here, and congratulations to Marshall Holman. We're going to shuffle off to Buffalo, but for now, that's the story from Venice, Florida. Good night, everybody. The $100,000 Venice Open on USA has been brought to you in part by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. By Mobile Detergent Gasoline for your everyday driving needs. By Levi's Menswear, makers of Levi's Action Slacks. And by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is USA One, and USA One is taking charge. Tuesday, USA hammers you with professional wrestling as